All right, so we had something happened here with the webinar. We're going to just start back over. Uh, all right, so it looks like my connection got dropped. I apologize for that there. So we were just talking about the Personnel Management Kiosk, Personnel Management Kiosk and how it uh, interfaces, how it interacts with MzeroManage. So I was just talking a little bit about some of the configurations here for the hardware devices. We talked about the pedestal mount and then the child height mount. And what does the PMK device do? So PMK device is a temperature taking device. It essentially allows the user to walk up to it and scan, get their temperature taken, and then whether you use facial recognition or not, it will record, should you choose to do so, record that event, whether it be as a guest, it'll take a picture of the individual at the time they're scanning, or if you are using the facial database, it will actually record that user, and then, for lack of better words, assign that temperature or assign that event to a registered user in your system. So let's see, we can go ahead and talk about the software. So for MzeroManage, what is MzeroManage doing? The MzeroManage platform, the software, and it's specifically how it interacts with the PMK Personnel Management Kiosk, is it allows you to remotely manage. It allows you to remotely monitor both the scans and the settings on the device without having to go up to the physical device and interact with it. Barring initial setup or changing or connecting to a network or wireless network connection, that's pretty much hands off. If you've got 10 of these units and they're at different places throughout the country, or maybe you have a large campus or you have a large facility, manufacturing facility, etc., you don't want your IT personnel or whomever is responsible in your organization for managing the system and the scans of your employees and staff and students. You don't want them spending 2/3 of their day running around a large campus and making changes to these devices anytime there's an update or anytime there's something that you want to change to a setting or your temperature thresholds change, your organization has, oh, we don't want this or we can't have that setting, we can't record that information. That's really going to wear everybody out having to run back and forth between all those units. So MzeroManage, the software, allows you to remotely connect those units to the cloud, gives you one centralized location to manage that. If you're using the facial database, it gives you one centralized location to upload every employee, to add, edit, adjust settings for the staff that you onboard, for the staff that you add to the device and to the software, instead of having to go and take someone's picture 10 times if you have 10 kiosks, or having to make a setting change 10 different times. It's just one centralized portal to make all those changes. So we talk a lot about the facial recognition. So that's kind of what this section's about. It's about the facial recognition, onboarding employees, and the temperature scans. Because really, you're purchasing this device because you need to have temperatures. You need to ensure that your guests, your students, your employees, your coworkers are safe. You're not exposing them to potential biohazard situations, etc. You want to make sure you guys can get back to school, get back to business, and continue on with life in a safe, effective, time-consuming, cost-effective manner. No one wants to take someone out of production team or out of the fabrication facility and have them stand out front all day with a temperature gun when this device can be left alone. It always shows up to work on time, and it's always going to take a temperature. So MzeroManage, specifically the features and capabilities in regards to employees, the database, the temperatures, the reports. So it does, like I said numerous times now, it does give you the ability to use a facial database. So you can upload a picture, some information about your employees, their name, their email address. It gives you that record set to ensure who's who and they are who they're supposed to be. And they're scanning in and they're getting good scans. It logs temperatures. It will send an alert if you have an individual that scans in and their temperature exceeds a threshold that you can set. They come set here from the factory at 100.4 degrees Fahrenheit, which is the CDC recommendation for high temperature threshold in regards to the COVID-19 pandemic. You can change those. If your organization has one lower, or if it has one higher, that's all up to you as the end user to change that and ensure that that threshold is within your accepted range. That email alert, as well as if you're logged in using Chrome, you can get the Chrome HTML5 web alerts, where it actually will show a pop-up on the web page as you logged in. Or if it's still in your memory, still in your cookies, you'll still get that alert even with the page not up. But most people are getting these for email alerts. Gives you one centralized location to pull a report. So you can actually pull an entry report and look at it with a graphical user interface, search through it. Or if you're just one of those super duper Excel heavy, individuals, you just love Excel, you love pivot tables, you're a data wizard, you can export these records to CSV, and then from there, the possibilities are endless. You can do whatever you need to do with that data set within your organization. As we mentioned too, the viewing of the temperature scans and the images, you'll be able to be notified. You can see within an instant, clicking on a picture, did they pass, did they fail? Of course, that email alert will get kicked off if they exceed that threshold. You can check to see the last contacted device. There's a heartbeat if it's singing, phoning home, so to speak, to the server. You can create, or you can actually change app settings. You can push app settings down to the devices from the web management portal. And then, as I mentioned before about the dashboard, seeing those scans pop up in real time. Of course, grouping the kiosks together if you have multiple ones, that's more of a feature of the server side. We'll get into a little bit on the next slide. And then another feature that a lot of people are curious about is the storing of the data on the physical device. A couple concerns about what do I do? What if someone runs into my lobby and decides to haul, this 50-something pound unit out the front door and run off with it? Well, you actually have the ability to turn off local device storage, so it will just store that information in the cloud. The minute a scan comes in, then you will actually be able to, for lack of better words, get it off the device instantly. It will push it to the cloud, and then you don't have to worry about images, pictures, past records, etc., being stored on the device itself. If you are planning on using the facial database and to use facial recognition with the employees or your student, staff, etc., a couple things to know. So that the image requirements, we really don't need a huge picture. We're not looking for you to go out and buy, brand new DSLR camera with, the $10,000 lens. A good webcam picture, most typical webcams off the shelf today, one built into your computer, MacBook Pro, etc. The size. So the image you see here is a pretty good baseline. That's what we call the passport style photo. This image here is about 700 pixels by about 1100 pixels tall. That's pretty good size. Honestly, the algorithm that's performing the heavy lifting and the math on the face, this is where you're gonna be within the right range. It's gonna be happy. No tilting of the head, no looking sideways, no glamour shots over the shoulder. It should be a very simple forward-facing photo, eyes level with the lens of the camera that's taking it, looking straight into the camera. Currently, right now, only JPEGs and PNG, portable network graphics, are the accepted image types. If you're using the bulk upload feature, you would want to name the images after the employee ID. So in the bulk upload process for uploading multiple users at once, this is where you would have a employee ID or a VIP ID to onboard the individual. You would associate that ID with the picture, so when it uploads, you're not hunting through 5, 10, 500 photos to find the right one. no larger than 500 kilobytes, and it cannot exceed about 4,000 pixels by 2,700 pixels. Let's keep it under that mark. That's going to be a huge photograph. It'll probably exceed the size limit. It's going to take longer to transfer and to upload to the cloud, etc. Mentioned again about the face tilt, the angle, the pitch. You know, we can't have any glamour shots. We can't have anybody looking over their shoulder. It's just straightforward, looking right into the lens of the camera. The camera should be on level with the individual who's being photographed. Um, if I have any photographers out there, anybody who fancies himself a photographer or in the art of taking photos, professionally, semi-professionally, you'll know about the rule of thirds for images. So as you can see here, if we were to separate this picture into thirds, the lower third is capturing the jaw, the middle third is capturing the nose and most of the eyes and the brow region, as well as the ears. You can see his ears. And in the top third of the photograph is just catching the crown of the head. Uh, really good example here. Really good to think rule of thirds. I need to be seeing the neck, the chin, the eyes, the nose, the ears, eyebrows, the top of the head. One other quick thing. Ladies with bangs, or even some gentlemen who have longer hair and might have the side swept bangs. Those can cause a problem during facial recognition. You're actually obscuring parts of the face that the algorithm needs to perform good scans and to make accurate scans. So no hats on, no masks on in onboarding pictures. If you do have bangs, if you're able to use a headband or some sort of scrunchie. Pardon me, I don't have any hair myself. But if it's scrunchie is the right term for it to pull your hair back, that's going to be the best bet. And last but not least, there's a limit of 20,000, 20 followed by 3 zeros, 20,000 pictures or individual unique faces. That's just the cap. That's the cap for the data and algorithm. Oh, and I cannot mention this one enough. You cannot have a noisy background. You need to have as plain, flat, nondescript, no fancy paisley wallpaper, no chevrons or other geometric designs. It's flat, nondescript background as possible. It's going to make your facial recognition process easier. I did want to talk about the startup library. So if you've thought about purchasing the software, please go, or if you haven't even purchased software, if you haven't purchased a device, please go to the Meridian website, meridiankiosks.com. At the top of the screen, you will see a Personnel Management Kiosk link. Under that link, there's several other options. Please go through there and check out the overview of the product, the videos. You can access the knowledge base. You can look at frequently asked questions. It's a really great resource, especially if you have questions about the device. If you've already received the device, you've already purchased the software, and you're just joining us today for updates and other things, then you're well aware that these video links are included in the welcome packet for the software. The portals. So we talked about the portal. I mentioned there was an administrative portal. There's more of like an admin portal where you would group kiosks. It's really simple. The manage.meridian kiosk, the MzeroManage server, this is where you will add the kiosks to your organizational group. This is where you can create groups within your organization and add kiosks to it, and then manage permissions for other users within your organization if you are indeed the system admin. You also set up your email alerts for individuals who need the high temperature alerts here. There's a couple other reports, and there's some other kind of techie stuff that's involved with this. I'm not going to really dive into it today because if you haven't used the product, if you're not using the product, it will be kind of lost on you. If you are a user, if you've got the PMK and you're about to get the software, we can talk a little bit more about that. But just a couple reports, real surface, speaking on surface here, just to check some connectivity, check to see if the device has indeed accurately read the faces, a couple reports like that. I don't want to go too deep down that rabbit hole. And then we've got MzeroManage View. This is where 90% of your interaction with the MzeroManage platform in regards to your personnel management kiosk is going to take place. And I want to actually show you guys, I get a lot of requests for this. So I'm going to pop screens over here. All right, so let me make sure I got, okay. So here you can see, this is, now you guys get to see my goofy face. This is your dashboard. So this is one of our testing accounts here in-house. You see some of our service team members here. We test on this. This is a real PMK with live version of the software. So this is that dashboard I was telling you about. And we get to do something cool on the call today. And I'm going to actually scan myself in right now on the kiosk, and we're going to watch it pop up on the screen. And you might have heard the kiosk speaking in the background, telling me normal temperature. And there you go. You see my big head of my headset right there. So it read my temperature. It told me I passed, and it instantly put my face up here on the screen. So you can see in all the glory that is Josh this morning, or this afternoon, I should say. This is our dashboard. So as individuals in your organization scan and they come in, you will see these images pass right here, show up right here. So they do have pass. We have fail. One of our technicians, Sarah, she's testing some things, so she was actually able to trigger a fail. The reporting feature. Everyone wants reports, so let's talk about the reports. So you get the entry reports right here on the screen. As I mentioned before, you can search employee IDs, types, temperatures, name. If you're using it to ensure individuals entering are using a mask, then this is where you get to do this. Sorting by entry date, do they have an ID card number, etc. And I mentioned for all our data fanatics out there, you can export this as a CSV. And then you get the ability to make the data do what you want it to do. So a little bit about the reporting there. Settings, you get a nice panel right here to check settings out, to perform setting changes. Body temperature mask. I want to record strangers. I want to make sure strangers, they're not turned away. Or I need to make sure that we're going to have a mask on, that everybody coming up to scan in has a mask on. I set it, I submit it. Within seconds, the device is updated and it's taking the change. You can do remote features here to the device. So I actually can go through and I can force it to synchronize settings in the facial database. I can reboot the app from here, and also I can remotely open a door if my unit is interfaced with a relay board for a turnstile, for a soft lock, etc. I can do all that here. And then we're going to talk about the personnel database. So in here, being able to add people to this personnel database, and I'm not going to stay on it for too long because we got testing account and information in there, but you would be able to add users one at a time. Let's say you've got 1,000 faces and people that you need to upload. Have no fear. Bulk upload is here. You can prepare, using a provided template, a CSV sheet that will allow you to pull from current directories or build from scratch and get your data, get your people's information all on that sheet, gather the images, zip them up, they're named correctly, attach, submit, and then booyah, you have got an upload. You've got everybody uploaded. You didn't have to go through and click 30 different buttons. You didn't have to go through and track down 100 different people and sit them down in front of a webcam and take their picture right there and ask them their name, their age, their email address, their employee ID. You can gather that in a timely manner on your own time, at your own pace, build that record set, and then upload them. And it doesn't have to be all at once. You could get 10 people one day, upload them. You could get 100 the next day, and you just upload. You can just constantly build that record set of your employees and personnel. All right, there we go. Had to change screens. So support and onboarding. When you purchase the device, when you purchase the software to accompany the PMK device, you should be given the option by your reseller or your distributor, or if you've purchased direct from Meridian, to get an onboarding package and to get what we refer to as kind of the extended support packages. More information coming on extended support packages. Some are available now, some will be adding. For the most part, it allows you to get kind of a quicker response if you have a support ticket. It does give you some benefits. Should there be a warranty or a return merchandise authorization, you get some benefits, you get some perks. The onboarding package, it is suggested for all new users of both the software and the device to purchase an onboarding package. Essentially, that buys you an hour with someone like myself. You could be lucky and even get me. I know. Definitely want to get me because I'm the best. I'm just kidding. But no, any member of the support team is more than happy to sit down with you and work with you on getting this product acclimated to your environment, getting it set up on the network, and then you've got an hour to work with us and to discover features of the product, ask questions. You're getting that one-on-one support before the device is even implemented in your facility. We do recommend it. It's a great feature. It's a great opportunity for you, much like these webinars, to learn about it, to have a chat session, or maybe you have no idea what you're doing, but someone in your organization said, we need this, and I need you to set it up, and I need you to know every single thing about it so we can put it out on the floor and scan temperatures. And you're probably feeling lost. You're probably feeling like, oh my goodness, I have no idea. I'm scared. I'm upset. No worries. Onboarding, we'll sit down. We'll make you feel much better about it. So we got questions. This is where you guys can submit questions. Now, I had a couple questions that I wanted to answer from last time. So while you guys are submitting questions, or if you want to wait a second for me to go through some of these before you submit them, now's would be a good time to think about that. And let me go ahead here and I'll go through some of these. So we had a question last time about, I think this was actually a user who had the device before the software. They enrolled their face at the kiosk, but they can't figure out how to import it to MZero. So we're waiting on a software update for the device to allow you to actually onboard at the PMK kiosk itself and MZero. When you connect the two with this update, which should be out, I'm hoping within the next month, it will actually ask you, would you like to go ahead and upload this record to the cloud? If you're planning on using the devices in the cloud, I would say don't worry about onboarding on the kiosk. Go ahead and start building your cloud personnel database. If you have one kiosk now and you're going to add 10, you're going to be thanking yourself that you did everything in the cloud, because when those new kiosks are added, with the click of a button, you can sync that information down to them. I was able to create a profile in MZero and upload the kiosk from the other kiosks. Again, speaking to the cloud. They do not communicate between one another. They only talk to the cloud and back and forth. Build your cloud database for facial recognition, and every kiosk you add, if someone knocks one over in the front lobby, you backs over it in your warehouse with a forklift and you have to replace it, once it gets online and once you click that button, all your information will start pushing back down. So talking about making changes to multiple kiosks, it's going to make those setting changes to all kiosks you have connected. There are plans to add in a grouping function to allow you to either isolate a particular kiosk or groups of kiosks to make changes to them. Question about having multiple locations with multiple variances, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So the question essentially asked, if you have a large organization, we'll just say, Acme Corp, which I know there's real Acme Corps, but we're going to pretend it's the one from Looney Tunes. Acme Corp has a office in Aberdeen, North Carolina. They have an office in New York City, and they have one in Corona, California. Do we need a global database? Do we need to break it up and have one license set for one location or one license set for another? That really depends on you as an organization. You with some careful setup, with some creation of groups and grouping the kiosks and setting permissions for end users to view certain reports, and your faces or your company's total employees are less than 20,000, you could have one global database, and then it's all about getting the reports in. Everybody would be able to go to any site, and then you could share it like that. If there's something specific about an organizational setup and you're not sure, please ask your sales rep. If they need to escalate to a member of the development team or the support team, they will, and we'll be happy to find the best solution for you. Unfortunately, there's not um, for lack of better words, there's not a blanket solution for large corporations, large entities with multiple locations throughout the United States or even globally. But the ones that there are and the ones that we've had to work with, we've been able to find a solution that was acceptable and that was pleasing and easy for them to do. Let's see. Okay, so another question here about managing locations, smaller offices shared amongst one run registration. So you guys essentially, going back to the other thing, going back to the other question that was asked, it's how your organization would want to do it. Do you need everything separated, or can you share information and then from there actually be able to assign permissions and permission sets and groups to specific users? So that again will be a kind of case by case, user by user basis. We currently have a HID 26-bit access card and Wigen card readers. Are there any indication that the kiosk will support Wigen? We should have a solution for the HID branded cards very soon. I know that was going through QA and testing, and I heard good things. Actively as it sits, the device does have a Wigen pigtail um, output. It's been a long day. So there is a Wigen support, and you can actually send those data bits over the Wigen protocol built into the device. Okay, let's see. So we got some more pictures coming in. If using stored pictures, how does it work if they have a mask on? So the stored pictures, the profile pictures, you would not want them to have a mask on. You would want to capture as much as their face as possible. If you do not have the stored user photo with a mask on, perfect. If your users are required to wear masks at the time of scanning in, a couple of things to note. If they have a busy mask on, or if they've got one of these masks that's like covering half their face, if they're wearing glasses, they might have to lower their mask a little bit, not expose their nose, not expose their nostrils, show a little bit more of the bridge and a little bit more of the bell of the nose. We're going to find that the more of the face that you can expose, the more accurate the facial recognition is. Yes, we have to have masks. A lot of places are requiring masks. Yes, we also want to have facial recognition. Kind of a catch-22. You're covering up a good part of the mug that actually contains that facial data. So it's just finding a sweet spot. Some individuals, their eyes, their nose, their brow, the shape of their head is enough to trigger a good recognition. Other individuals, like I said, might have to lower that mask just a little bit. Well, you have a live demo of the user interface management view control. I know a lot of the sales representatives here are doing that. I do plan on getting a good live demo. I wanted like today, first time today, showing the managed view aspect of it. We could go in deeper, but unfortunately, just 45-minute webinar is really not enough to go into the nitty gritty and really show off a lot of the features of the website and its portal and its use, for lack of better words. But ye ask, ye shall receive. I can probably get something going for you there, Joe. All right, so contact time is up. So yeah, we are aware there is an issue. The server that all this sits on is on the Pacific time. The next major update to the interface, which is still going through QA and getting processed, will allow users to set a specific override for a time zone. So yeah, I know it's a pain in the butt, but everything right now is specific time. That is on the docket, on the list, is being fixed. Let's see. I was informed that you can set the PMK to only send the employee data to no facial scan or temperature data. Okay, so most of that's correct. You can actually toggle it so it does not share or send a numerical temperature value. However, even with guest mode and with facial recognition mode, the device has to capture an event. So it has to take a picture. Whether or not you know who that person is, or you care who that person is, or you need to know they're an employee, it has to capture some photographic event to have a record. However, you can mask or you can hide the numerical temperature value and just get a 1 or a 0, a true or a false, or a pass or a fail. So that is possible. How does licensing work with MzeroManage per kiosk or per user per admin? Your license correlates to how many PMK devices you wish to have interacting with the cloud. So if you really need to have 5 PMKs, Personnel Management Kiosks, interact with the cloud, you will need to have 5 licenses. It's a per device, not a per user. So you can, once you set up the device, can you change the name to a custom name? You can change the location ID, which is actually under, if you're a current user of the device, we'll do a quick tip or trick real quick. So if you're familiar with entering the application settings, using the middle click on the mouse, entering your device password, you'll see a name setting. You can name that name there to a ID, and that will actually show up in MzeroManage under the location ID. There has been some talk, some discussion about moving that, perhaps changing the verbiage of that. But for the most part, yes, you can give it a name, some way for you to track it within your organization. For privacy considerations, can stranger mode be turned on always and have nothing record even to the cloud? Our company is pretty strict on privacy, and even the slightest hint that someone's temperature and picture employee would be recorded doesn't sit well. So with stranger mode and stranger record, you would still record a pass fail, and you would still have a record of that image. It just would not have a way to tie a name to it to identify somebody. So that's kind of, that might be some limitations within your organization. We could, let's see, I'm trying to think of the best way that we could get you hooked up, but still make it fit. Yeah, I mean, even in the cloud, that might be an issue. However, you kind of got to decide, do you want to take the pictures at all? If you don't, you could use it standalone, but the best thing we could do would be to give you the stranger mode, to not record any information on the individuals other than pass fail. It's a 90-day retention policy. After that, the records would be deleted, but we could possibly work at getting you a purge feature. That might be an extra development cost, but if it's something you want to talk about, please contact your rep. If you already got a sales rep, if you're thinking about, if you're already in a relationship with an individual or reseller, go ahead and reach out to them. And if they need to get back to the development team or someone here, we can start working towards that. Can we do the employee enrollment through the kiosk itself? You can, but at this time, they will not upload to the cloud. I personally would not recommend it just because you seem to get a little bit better control over the data set um, being being onboarded, being added to the cloud. The cloud is king in this scenario. So I would say as much of it as you can do through the cloud and on MzeroManage View, do that. It's going to save you a lot of headache in the long run, especially until that software update comes out. So issues with being out in the cold and people being recognized by the user. Any way for the software? Let's see. I hate when I can't scroll down. Is there any way for the software dealing with a low end temperature set so it can instruct the user to try wait again? Yes, one of the other features of the next software update will have a scanning please wait. There has been some information sent out about some standard operating procedures as the temperatures reach a because we're in winter here in North America, as we get towards a colder climate, there are some standard operating procedures that you might have to follow for individuals with exposure to sub-zero freezing temperatures. We do have documentation on the personnel management kiosk, FAQs that explain this already, as well as the operating temperature. So how cold your environment can be, the ambient temperature can be, or how hot that temperature can be for the unit to work appropriately. For HIPAA regulations, on-premise M0 be available. I'm pretty sure you can go ahead and get the ball rolling. Dale asked this. So Dale, go ahead and reach out to your sales representative about that. Let's see. Can you change or add a field for the employee information? No, but if there's something you absolutely have to have, you can make a request, and the developers basically can tell you how long or how much that would cost to get implemented. Let's see. I have units already in use. Can I upload the photos to the cloud? Am I expected to retake photos? There will be an update, Peter, for you to be able to upload the photos as they are on your device. Currently, no, but there will be. And you might find that the photos on the device that you've taken with the device are not as good as ones, or are not as pleasing, aesthetically pleasing, or hitting the points of facial recognition that you might want for the device to do fast, accurate facial recognition scans. If it can't recognize the person, what happens? In this case, I would almost recommend everyone use guest mode. Everyone use stranger record. If it doesn't recognize someone, it will at least recognize them as a guest. Because what we're really after here is we're after those temperature alerts. Guests, registered users, doesn't matter. If a temperature exceeds, you will get that alert. So if you do have someone that's not getting recognized constantly, more than likely an issue with their photo. It happens a lot with individuals with masks on, like dark masks, very dark black masks. It happens a lot with people with glasses with a glare. If you've got a glare, if you sodium vapor light in your factory above the unit shining down, individuals who are lacking hair on the top of their head. As you saw in my photo, I keep my head shaved, but I don't have a real glossy head. I got a real dry skin, so I'm not shining. I don't have any problem, but we have seen individuals with really shiny bald heads, really shiny glare and reflective glasses. That can be a problem. The best bet is going to be kind of, I guess, for lack of better words, um, see who it is that's having the issue, and then we might have to work on their profile photo individually. Let's see. So yeah, I'm going back to Dale. So for the HIPAA on-premise, go ahead and reach out to your sales rep. They might have to direct you here back to Meridian, but we might be able to go ahead and get some on-premise rolling for you. How you change your user password once you get your initial login. There is a forgot password link on the MzeroManage View site. That will essentially take you to the location to change or update your password. A vendor was offering a camera calibration on the PMK device. What are they talking about? I have no idea. I do know the device our device, the Meridian device, does have an auto calibration feature. Um, it actually, if you were to reboot the device from a hard cold reboot, it would actually perform what we would call the auto startup calibration. So it takes 10 minutes to calibrate to the surroundings and to read the surroundings temperatures to get a better baseline to be able to read the temperatures of your employees, students, etc., of the individuals as they come in. You can also manually change that compensation if you notice it's reading high or you notice it's reading low based upon your environment. Will the setting for indoor outdoor be available for MzeroView app? I can put it on the list of things that need to be added. I do not think it's right there now, but we can definitely get that in front of the development team. Let's see. When doing a bulk upload process, I have a folder with all the images to match to my CSV file, but I also have additional images in that zip folder. Will it still work, or will it ignore the additional images? One quick thing, you want to make sure your zip files pictures are in the root of the zip. If you were to double click on the zip file, you should see images instantly. If you see a folder, it's not going to work. You can't have nested folders in the zip file. As far as additional images, as long as none of those images are named a number that matches an employee's ID number from that CSV, they will get skipped. Let's see. Oh, already answered that one. Can I pull the data from networked existing units from my PC using the software? That is in that update. If you're talking about Android debugger, it would be up to you as the end user. That might void warranty. I would avoid that. We might be able to help you on a specific level. So if you're curious about that, we might be able to look at it. But a lot of times the photographs on the device are so compressed to make it easier for going up and down the cloud. How do you add users to MzeroManage? Also, how to update email address for reporting. So someone needs to be an MzeroManage user in order to get that email address. If you need users added, please open up a help desk ticket on our website. You'll see under the FAQ for Personnel Management Kiosks, or you call a support number and they should be able to direct you. Open up a ticket, and then we'll get you added. We'll get whomever added. Or if there's an issue with an email address, we would have to change that for you. They will be changing it to where you can address those user ads and where you can address those name changes, what we call, typical, oh, I want to change my password. I want to add a password. I need to add Susie. I need to take Susie off. Those are coming pretty soon. But right now, we'll be happy to process those for you. All right. That was the last question. We are out of time for the day. You guys have definitely had some great questions. I appreciate every last one of you for coming in and showing interest in the product and showing interest in the software. A couple of you, I recognize your names from new clients, new customers. Welcome to the Meridian family. We're here to take care of you. We're here to get your scans going. If you have any other questions, feel free to reach out to your representatives. If you've already got the software, you should be well aware of the support team, the help desk, submitting tickets. Feel free to reach out to us. Other than that, that's one more webinar down. I hope you join us next time. We might do a little bit more a deeper dive into the software, maybe a live demonstration. If you guys are hungry for that, we can definitely do that. If we can't do it on a webinar, we'll get a video of it up on the website, and we will make it available for you guys to watch and use. But I'm about all out of breath today. Again, my name is Josh, software support engineer here, MzeroManage PMK for Meridian Kiosks. As always, my pleasure interacting with you wonderful people. If you have any questions, if you need anything, please reach out to help@mzero.com, and we will be more than happy to get connected with you and assist you with any and all questions that you have. So that's it for today. Join us next week, same time, same station, same channel, same MZero platform. We'll be happy to have you again anytime. Y'all have a great rest of the evening and afternoon, and we hope to see you soon.